Health Texas and Halftime Pizza proudly present Real Boxing with legendary fight trainer Ronnie Shields.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, guys. Happy Tuesday to everybody. And if it is indeed Tuesday, that means only one thing. We're being joined by legendary fight trainer, the incomparable Coach Ronnie Shields. Coach, how are you today, sir?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
How was your day at the gym?
Busy but good.
Guys, and once again, if this is Real Boxing with Coach Ronnie Shields, that means we're being joined by the best young journalist in boxing, the incomparable Young Billy Boxing. How are you, sir?
Awesome to be talking with Coach Ronnie.
I love it. I tell you what, a lot to talk about, Ronnie. Were you able to see the fights this past weekend on the Dead Zone?
Not at all.
Oh, boy.
Hey, Coach, can you remind everybody why? Can you remind everybody why you didn't see it, Coach?
Because I don't have
it. Well, were you able to see any highlights on the eye-opening performance by Jesse Bam Rodriguez, in which, boy, he beat up and outclassed former champion Sor Rungvisai in 8 rounds?
No, but I did read about it.
Oh, well, hey, that's good enough. I'll tell you what, because this is a guy, and there's talk now among fans and people within the industry that this kid has the potential because of his, well, diehard Mexican fan base following in South Texas and his fight style, that he has the potential to be a mainstream commodity. But do you see that, Coach? Because once again, how many mainstream commodities and big ticket sellers, big earners, well, are in 115 pounds?
Slim and none.
Yeah, that's a tough sell.
It's, you know what? It's crazy though, man, because those guys are the most exciting fighters in the sport.
Yes, they are.
And it's a shame because they're so small that they don't get paid the way they're supposed to be paid, because they put on the most exciting fights in the sport.
Yep, they sure are. I tell you what, we'll speak more about that later. Something tells me that that's coming up in Fact or Fiction. But, Coach, can I remind you something? It's now, Coach, today. Do you know what today is? It's not only Tuesday in Real Boxing with Ronnie Shields, obviously, but it's the 25-year anniversary of the Bite Fight, the rematch between Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield.
Oh, wow.
Do you remember that day vividly, Coach?
Oh, yes, I do. I think a lot of people do. Yeah, I think a lot of people remember that.
Oh, boy. Now, Coach, you weren't training Evander at the time, were you?
No, not at that time.
So, and Mike was
before that and then after that.
Okay, very good. Tell you what, Tyson's lucky you weren't in the corner for that fight. Now, if you had been in the corner, how would you have reacted? Would you have immediately pulled your guy out also, or?
You know, I really don't know, because, you know, when things happen, you know, you have to go with your instincts right when it happens. So I'm not sure what I would have done. I mean, I really and truly don't know.
Let me ask you, had you ever seen anything like that up to that point?
Oh, yeah.
Are you serious?
I've seen a lot of stuff in this sport.
Wow. Have you seen anything crazier than that?
Yes.
Wow.
I seen a riot in the ring when two families, you know, their kids was fighting, and then they got in a scuffle in the middle of the ring. Then all of a sudden, everybody jumped in the ring.
Wow.
And, you know, everybody tried to jump in and try to split them apart, pull them apart. You know, it's like a gang fight in the middle of the ring. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, was this professional too?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
But it wasn't on TV. This wasn't
okay,
on TV.
Non-televised. Okay.
Yeah, this was not only on TV, guys. This was on pay-per-view. The Bite Fight.
The Bite Fight, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, how did you think of the way Judge Mills Lane handled this?
Referee Mills Lane.
Oh, that's why I'm sorry, referee Mills Lane.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he became a judge on TV, didn't he? Later on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry,
But
third
you
man
know
of the
what?
ring, Mills Lane.
He tried to do the best he could. You know, he didn't want it to get to that point, but you know, he was a very good referee then. He would
Yep.
try to be fair on both sides. I don't think he was a fan of any fighter because he just did his job, and he just he took points when he was supposed to take points, but when a guy continued to do what he tells him not to do, that's when like he just had to be he had to be stern, and and he just did what he could do. And obviously, Mike Tyson didn't at that point. He was so mad because he thought Evander was headbutting him on purpose, and he really
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. I mean, you can go back and look at a lot of Evander's fights. I mean, that's just the way he fight. And
Yep.
if your head is in the middle, you're going to get caught. You're going to get caught. I mean, that's simple.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that, though. Chewing off a piece of his ear
Yeah,
and
that was
spitting it out to the ring canvas.
that was really crazy.
Jeez. Did you guys ever talk about that when you were in Hawaii?
No, no. We talked about Evander, but not about that. The crazy thing about it was Mike and Evander were good friends before
Mm-hmm.
this because they both was on the U.S. team, and Evander was the only guy. And Evander was, I think he was a light heavyweight then. He was the only guy that could spar with Mike, that gave him good work.
Mm.
Everybody else was scared of Mike, and dude didn't want to get in the ring with him, but Evander. So the only sparring he got was really with Evander, and we talked about them being in camp together with the USA Boxing, and and going on a few trips together, representing the U.S. But other than that, no.
Mm.
And is that why Evander was so confident going in that he could beat Mike
Oh,
the first fight?
no
Because of
doubt.
those that experience with him and knowing him, and also knowing that he's not intimidated, that play a
Well,
role and
and
Evander Holyfield being so successful in both fights.
well, that's the key word. Evander wasn't intimidated.
Mm.
Evander knew that he had to stand up to Mike, and everybody else didn't. Everybody else was scared, and everybody know Mike could punch, but but everybody didn't have the chin that Evander Holyfield had, and everybody didn't have the will to win like Evander Holyfield.
Mm. Tell you what, great first fight. It's a shame the second one played out the way it did.
Yeah.
But it seemed inevitable. It seemed like it was going to be the exact same fight. You think that's why Mike Tyson did what he did?
Yeah, I kind of, probably, because he complained. He did complain the first fight about the headbutts. And look, I mean, headbutts is headbutts ain't no joke.
Mm.
I've been cut several times by headbutts,
Yeah.
and but it's a part of the sport. You may move your head one way or the other, and the other guy might be going the same way, and you got 9 out of 10 guys that it's an accident. You always have that one though that is not an accident. But Holyfield, no. Holyfield would never intentionally try to headbutt somebody, he just wouldn't do it. That's just not that's not in his DNA.
Very, very insightful. And that's a very insightful question, young Bill. And yeah, I tell you what, well, you got to be careful who you headbutt. Look at Marcus Brown headbutting Artur Beterbiev in his last fight. Well, he sure did pay for it. In the mind of Artur Beterbiev, boy, he believes that was truly intentional.
Yeah.
And as soon as Well, the doctor said, okay, I'll give you one more round. Boy, Arthur Beterbiev just was out for blood. It was actually a very scary sight. Seeing all of that blood trickle into his mouth. He's drinking it like a shark. Oh, that's a scary man, Ronnie.
Yeah, that's scary.
Hey, guys, this is not only the anniversary of the Bite fight, but it's also on this day, 8 years ago, Terence Crawford defeated Yuriorkis Gamboa by TKO in round 9 to retain the WBO lightweight title. Do you remember that fight, Coach?
Not really.
What a fight. What a fight, Coach.
Not really.
You know, it's amazing. And, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Coach.
No. I mean, no, I've seen too many fights.
Yeah, they kind of start to bleed together, don't they? And you know what's amazing is, and we're going to bring this up because yesterday, I don't know if I believe it or not, but he might as well. I even called this several months ago. He might as well retire. That's Mikey Garcia. He updated his Instagram account, calling himself a retired former 4-division world champion.
Who's that?
Mikey Garcia.
Oh, Mikey. Oh, okay.
And what's amazing is that's how Terence Crawford got this fight. They originally wanted Mikey to, defend his title at 130 pounds against Yuriorkis Gamboa. And, HBO, Ken Hirschman, wanted to give him A-side money. Mikey took exception to it, backed out of the fight. Yuriorkis ended up moving up to 35 for this event. And in steps Terence Crawford, and the rest is history. Things work out that way in boxing, don't they? When, one fighter tries to put themselves above the good of the sport, don't they?
Absolutely. That happens all the time.
Mm-hmm. And look, guys, boxing, the caravan of boxing always moves on.
Absolutely. Nobody is above boxing. Nobody. And
so now we fast forward 8 years, Coach. Terence Crawford seems to be in the same situation, demanding more money, wanting to fight in a one-off rather than signing a multi-fight advisory deal with Al Heyman. And it looks like the Spence fight is in jeopardy. Have you heard the same? And what are your thoughts on this? Do you feel that Spence should move on if Terence just demands too much?
Well, I think Spence going to have to move on if he demands too much. I think, look, with boxing, man, again, no one person is going to control the sport. So, if you can't unify, move on, go to the next division. That's all they can do. Because, and I understand kind of sort of the relationship he got out of with someone, but he had to get into a relationship with signing a contract. So now that he's out of it, he got to understand that in the sport, nobody's going to give you something for nothing. This is a business. They the person that got to make money in the sport. Everybody got to make money. You got promoters, you got, you got managers, you got everybody that needs to make money in the sport. And, and you may have to sign a 1 or 2 fight deal. But if you're really confident in yourself, then you have to do what you have to do. But, if you overprice yourself also, then everything is going to move on because neither guy is a mandatory for each other. So the fight don't have to happen. Guys could just continue to fight, in that division if they want to, or you say, okay, forget this. I'm giving up the 3 belts and boom, I'm gone. And then that's going to never get unified because now the belts are going to go everywhere. And it's going to be forever before you even get this close to unifying.
Coach, do you see Errol Spence Jr. electing to move up and vacate all of his titles, or do you see him defending them against the young guns at 47?
There's no money there for him. There's only one big money fight, and that's Terrence Crawford. That's it. For him to move up, he's going to make good money when he does move up. But at the same time, it's going to be a while before he can fight for a belt because look, Jamil has the belts, and you don't know how long he's going to be at 154 pounds. So, so it's damn if you do and damn if you don't, really.
And Coach, them two are not fighting each other. So I mean, that takes a big money fight off the table. You understand? You got two guys in the same camp. You got two guys in the same camp that are top guys.
Yeah, absolutely. But look, I mean, Errol could still make good money fighting anybody at 154. He don't have to fight Jamil, but he's going to make good money regardless. Terrence is in a different boat right now because he don't have in the vacuum.
And there it is, guys. We apologize for any technical difficulties that you guys might be experiencing. We'll try to get that cleared up. In the meantime, let's give a shout out to some of our dear friends at the War Week Radio Extended family here to there. Says salute Coach Ronnie, Young Bill, and Joseph. Salute as to you, my friend. Also want to give a shout out to our brother John McSmith. Greetings, Big Joe, and the legendary Coach Ronnie Shields. I'll drink to that, brother. God bless you. Thank you for always joining us. Antonio Luna says there are reports that Crawford Spence is falling apart. And once again, guys, you're going to hear the truth and the most accurate report on this show and a ton of nonsense on other YouTube platforms. So thank you for visiting us, Antonio. I also want to give a shout out to our brother Peter Von Ark. Says Joseph, Young Billy, and Coach Shields. How y'all doing tonight? We're doing great, especially now that you're here, my friend. Also, here it is. No, don't say that. As long as it's taken to make Spence Crawford, it'll probably turn out to be a lousy fight. Oh, bite your tongue, young man. Oof. That seems to happen, though, in boxing, doesn't it, Coach?
Yeah, it does. It happens all the time. I mean, but, but I can't see this fight being boring at all. I really can't.
Well, it's amazing. And once again, it comes full circle. Terrence Crawford got his big opportunity in his date with destiny because Mikey Garcia, wanted too much money and backed out of the fight. Yeah, now it looks like he's doing the same. Let's hope he comes to his senses and he can work something out with Steven Espinosa and Al Heyman. Because, guys, the fans deserve it. The fans deserve it. Let me ask you something, Coach. What is going to be Terrence Crawford's fan reception if this fight doesn't get made?
Well, oh, man. I mean, for a lot of fans, it's going to be, they're going to be mad because this is what they pay their money for. And, and this is what they really want to see for the real boxing fans, But, again, I think we all looking at different things and we have to still realize that boxing is a business. And in business, you always want to make sure that you get the best, that, you're giving the best, so why can't you get the best? And whether he have to sign a deal for 1 or 2 fights on Showtime or whatever, or with PBC, that's business, that's what the business is all about. And it's hard in the sport to not be affiliated with something, having some kind of contract outside of yourself because you can't pay yourself. You don't have the money to pay yourself to fight other guys and pay them to. So, and you're not a network.
Yep.
In order for you to make money, you need the network. And you have to make a deal at least with the network in order to make that happen. And if you can't make a deal with the network, then, You shit out of luck.
Shit out of luck. Coach Ronnie, you still there, sir?
I'm here.
Okay, very good, because we're experiencing some breakup, some buffering issues. I don't know if it's on my end or your end, but we'll forge ahead, sir. Want to give our shout out to our brother Danny Drew. Thank you for visiting, sir. He says, Coach Ronnie, oh, well, you're about to get an earful, Danny Drew. He says, Coach Ronnie, talk about your WBC title fight in Tokyo against let me see if I pronounce this correctly. It's Tsuyoshi Amada.
Amada, yes.
Oh, boy. In December of 1986. And he further says, Coach, and pull this up. Did you go to home cooked on the cards, losing a split?
Yes, I did.
Oh, jeez. Yep.
That's, when I went to Japan, I felt so good going there. I really felt comfortable going there. And, I was assured that I was going to have the proper, how you call it, I was assured there wasn't going to be no home cooking. It was going to have two judges from here, one judge from there, and it didn't matter.
Oh, boy.
It was a good fight. It was a good fight, though. And I felt comfortable. I felt confident that I had won the fight. And when they announced a split decision, I said, well, good. I can win a split decision. That's good. But it went the other way. And, it happens. It happens in the sport. And I never watched it again, though. I never went back and watched it.
Made you sick, didn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh, boy. We're sorry, Coach Ronnie. I tell you what.
And you remember it like it was yesterday by the way you talked about it, Coach. So I could tell as a competitor, you still think about it.
Well, only when it comes up.
Only when it comes?
Yeah, absolutely. Only when somebody mention it. That's the only time I ever think about it.
Well, thanks a lot, Danny. I tell you what, though, Coach, you had a great career. And let me ask you something. I saw that it was a split decision in 12 rounds. You never had to fight a 15-round fight, did you?
Never, because when I turned pro, they was doing 15-round fights.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as maybe like about a year or two, I think it was like 2 years after I turned pro, that's when they cut it off. They cut the 15 rounds to 12. And, they did it because they were saying that people were getting hurt and maybe 15 rounds was too long. So they decided to cut it to 12. And, actually I thought it was good because I think the fights became more exciting. And I think the fans really enjoyed the fights being more exciting than a dull 15 rounds, because, it was hard for guys to fight toe-to-toe, like that for 15 rounds. They was able to do it for 12, but for 15, just couldn't see it.
So what you're saying that Ali Frazier 1 and 3 were an anomaly?
Absolutely.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, fighters used to strategically pace themselves during 6 through 11 or that kind of stretch, right? And didn't start turning it back up until 12, 13, 14. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, geez. Well, it's funny how a lot of people like to play revisionist historian when remembering all the great, exciting 15-round fights and not remembering, some of the snoozers and clinch fests.
Just go back and look at a lot of Muhammad Ali fights.
Oh, boy. Oh, boo. He
was smart, though. He was smart. He knew what to do. He knew how to weigh him down. He put his weight on him. He wrestled with him. He did a lot of things that people didn't understand, but now they do.
It's funny. Going back to George Foreman, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman always says, what the hell was up with the ropes? Can you explain that one, Coach? Have you ever seen ropes act like that when you're leaning on them?
Well, only Ali did it, and he used it to his advantage. And,
well, he sure did.
Yeah, he did. I mean, and George thought, oh, I'm gonna just go bang him to the body, and that's gonna do it. No, he, Ali was making him miss a lot, catching him a lot of punches on the arms, and he got George tired. And George didn't know how to handle that.
Well, that's the day the okadoke officially became the rope-a-dope.
The rope-a-dope.
Hey, Coach, and how crucial is it to, and how detrimental is it to a fighter when you miss a lot of power shots? Because, like you said, he wore him down by making a miss.
Absolutely, because when you have a strong guy, right, like a George Foreman, and George was just swinging and swinging and swinging, and sometimes Ali would pull back and make him miss, and man, that's stamina. Stamina is nothing you could do. You lose your stamina, and once your stamina is gone, is it. You keep missing. Even now, I mean, you keep missing, and it takes a lot away from you because you're putting so much power into those shots, and you're not touching anything. I mean, wow! Imagine doing that for like 4 or 5 rounds, and then what you're going to have left, you'll be depleted.
Yeah, imagine just doing that to a heavy bag for 4 or 5 rounds. See what you have left.
Absolutely.
That's it, guys. That's it. Thank you so much for your expertise, Ronnie. We always learn something every Tuesday. And thank you, Danny Drew, for picking the scab off of that wound, brother. And our brother Antonio Luna, welcome to the show, sir. He says it's either Jerron Boots Ennis or Terrence Crawford. Not from what I'm hearing. You might see once upon a time Keith Thurman get this assignment instead. Okay, you remember you heard it first on War Week Radio. Let's pray that that's not the case, but guys, I'm afraid it's going to be true. I want to give a shout out to our brother Meanie Meal. He says, hey, Joe and Ronnie and young Bill. You know what, brother? Thank you so much for always supporting War Week Radio and the coach, Ronnie Shields, guys. Also want to give a shout out to my brother Cosmic. Thank you so much for joining us. And brother, let me tell you, man, that deserves a shot. Thank you, Cosmic, for visiting the coach. Shot 30 going down. On that note, young Bill, do you have anything that you'd like to ask Coach Ronnie about the Croatian sensation, Filip Vrgovic?
Yeah, of course. I want to know, how's he looking in camp, Coach, and is he going to be the co-main on that Joshua Usyk 2 card?
I would assume that he might be the co-main.
Okay.
He should be the co-main, but I'm not sure because I don't know who else is on that card, so I have no idea. But he's doing good in camp, though. We starting to learn each other, and he's starting to figure my style out and my ways of doing things, and everything is I'm pleased with the things that I see right now.
And Coach,
That's outstanding.
How do you keep him from peaking too early? Now that the date has been moved, because when I first saw him at camp with you, we thought the fight would be July 23rd, and now it's pushed back till another 4 weeks. So how do you go about tapering him down a little bit and making sure he doesn't peak too soon?
I gave him like last week off. Gave him a week off. I just had him come in a couple of days, shadow box, and go home, and just doing nothing but rest, relax, and we just picked it back up yesterday. But we're not doing really hard things right now. He sparred today like 4 rounds, and he's this week is going to be more me teaching and showing him different things that I think is going to work for him in the fight. So that's going to be. This is not going to be a hard week, but it's going to be just a week of offensive, defensive stuff that we need to continue to work on.
And he's working and he's fighting Zhang, right, Coach, for the IBF IBF eliminator?
Yes.
Okay, and with the IBF, Coach, we know how strict it is. We know how strict they are at enforcing mandatory positions. So are you confident that if Filip Vrgovic is successful against Zhang, that he'll get a shot at Joshua Usyk 2 winner, at the Joshua Usyk 2 winner?
That's the plan, and that's my hope. But being in the sport for so long, it doesn't always go that way because, again, if let's just say Joshua wins, right? Then a fight with Fury is there. If Usyk wins, who knows? Who knows? They can go both ways. I mean, they're not going to, an undisputed is, take precedent over everything.
Right.
So, and that takes precedent over a mandatory. So, and look, and it's well deserved if they are going to fight for an undisputed. Hey, I think everybody will be on board with it. But if it's not going to happen, then of course, we hope the IBF is the first one to say, hey, you guys, we're first up. So, the winner has to fight Philip Hergovic.
Well, come on, Daryl Peoples, come on. Well, I tell you what, we really hope that, we get to see once again. I'm really looking forward to Philippe Hergovic and the Big Bang, Zhili Zhang, being the co-main event of that co-main event on that brilliant card. Yeah, and in my opinion, once again, because it is the IBF, and Young Billy brought that up, if Usyk does indeed win, they're going to be putting a lot of pressure on him to either vacate or defend that title. I love the IBF. Daryl Peoples, IBF out of New Jersey, USA.
And the biggest, like Coach said, the biggest contingency that, the biggest variable that hinges on this is if Tyson Fury is truly retired or not. Because, like you said, he's still holding on to that WBC belt and waiting for the outcome. But like you said, Joe, if Tyson Fury is retired, then there is no undisputed for right now. And they will have to fight. So Tyson Fury is the last domino for the winner.
Well, guys, trust me when I tell you this. He's going to be retired. He's retired, okay? From what I've been told, he's not even thinking about boxing. He's doing his Floyd Mayweather retirement tour around the UK and talking a lot of mess. But no, he's not even thinking about training. Sugar is focused on Ben Whitaker and their upcoming pro debut, and not even thinking about professional boxing. Okay, that's just my intel for whatever that's worth. But who knows? Money has a funny way of making people change their minds. Let me ask you something, though, Coach Ronnie. Do you think there's enough money to lure Tyson Fury out of retirement for an Usyk fight?
It's enough money to raise the dead.
Yeah.
So absolutely, yes.
Coach, it was already enough money to make Dillian White dance like a sissy. So,
absolutely.
Like you said, Coach, I would dance like a sissy for $8 million. So,
and there it is. Guys, we'll speak on this a little bit later. Danny Drew. Once again, I want to read this comment. In my opinion, Coach Ronnie's the best trainer in boxing. No argument here, sir. He says he fought pro and experienced it. A lot of these trainers out here today are fake. Never stepped through the ropes. Thank you for your comment, sir. Coach Ronnie, what do you think about the young trainers who claim to be mythologists or myth experts? You just have to laugh at that, don't you? And once again, you don't have to name any names. Just
but everybody got their own way of doing things, and hey, whatever floats your boat, that's what you have to do. As long as you're training your guy to win, to teach them what to do. That's what it is. I mean, everybody got a way to do their own thing.
Yeah, well, let me ask you. You said, prepare your train to win, but when's the last time you've seen a 23 punch combination ever in a prize fight, Coach?
That Mayweather mitt work, Coach. You love it, don't you, Coach?
Emmanuel
hated it with a passion.
Well, I tell you like this: you never see Floyd fight that way. So
right, that's true.
But the thing about it is, what a lot of people still don't understand is that Floyd always want to put on the show, and then he goes and trains.
Yep, that's it. That's it. Most people didn't realize that it was just to get warm, just to get the reflexes going. Emmanuel hated it though. because after Floyd made it popular, boy, we all saw saw a ton of young trainers trying to do that. We still see to this day a ton of YouTubers trying to do that. We even see some YouTubers go across their back, behind their back, like, come on, guys, enough of it, enough of this nonsense. Jingo.
Hey, Coach, my boy here to there says, where does Crawford go if he doesn't do the Spence PBC deal now? Now that's a big one, Coach.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll pull that up.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really and truly don't know where he goes because, all he could do is defend the title with whomever going to put money and who's going to do it.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know anybody that would do it.
Well, let me go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
No, I don't even think Adrien would mess with it.
Nope.
Because he got nowhere to go.
That's it. And let me read this comment. Right, Crawford should know PBC will not get burned having no options on him like Canelo. Let alone he's not a Canelo type draw. Bingo. Where does Crawford go if he doesn't get the Spence PBC deal? Once again, this is why, guys, and I will do this all the time in Fact or Fiction, interject my opinion because this is Ronnie's show. If you notice and can pick this up, I'll interject my opinions in Fact or Fiction. And there's a reason, guys, if you're paying close attention, why I segued from Mikey Garcia forced into retirement directly into Terence Crawford. Seriously, guys, you have to be able to see the parallels here. In my opinion, Coach, what is he going to do? Move up to 154? Then he has the same situation. Last time I checked, Jermell Charlo was a PBC guy. Okay, so once again, if you want to pay, if you want to play, you got to pay the piper. And no way in Hades is Al Heyman going to give you a one-off when you're not a big ticket seller.
Absolutely.
That's it. It has to make sense for everyone involved.
It's just business. Like Coach said, it's just business.
It's business. You got to do business.
Hey, Coach. Oh, I'm sorry, Coach. Go ahead. No, go ahead. I just want to know because you say it's a business after all. So, what would be a good advice? Because, like you said, if Spence only has Crawford as his biggest fight, what does Crawford think is his biggest fight? Because for me, if that's Spence's biggest fight is Terence Crawford, even if he moves up, what does Terence Crawford think he would get moving up? I mean, PBC kind of controls that division, Coach. So what? Realistically, yeah. So him calling out Jermell Charlo and saying he's going to get that fight. Well, Joe, I mean, Coach, he still has to deal with Al Heyman some way, somehow.
That's it.
He got nowhere to go. He has nowhere to go. Even if he goes to 160, he got nowhere to go.
That's it.
You still got nowhere to go. The crazy thing about it is, he should have learned that from being with Top Rank. Aram did what he possibly could to get him where he's at right now. And then all of a sudden, you start seeing all these things come out like crazy. And, so is it Aram or is it him? I mean, I don't know. And it's just a crazy situation, man. And, I really like Terence Crawford, but he got to understand that this is the business, and you need people to do business.
That's it. Look, and once again, Terence Crawford made his bones in this business, and this was the reason for me bringing up the 8-year anniversary of the Yuri Orkis Gamboa fight. Right? He made this, and if you talk to Bruce Trampler, he will tell you that my 3 favorite fighters over the last 20 years were Manny Pacquiao, Miguel Cotto, and Terence Crawford because they did not turn down assignments, but all 3 of them eventually, when they became big stars, turned into divas.
Yeah.
But Joe, Terence Crawford never became what Miguel Cotto and Pacquiao are box office wise.
You're absolutely right. Only in his mind, sir.
And that's no offense to Terence Crawford because he's still pound for pound number 1 in my eyes, but and I don't want to, go too far, but Cotto at least did 500,000 before. I mean, he did good numbers with Canelo. He did $1 million with Floyd, over $1 million. I mean, so he
did good numbers with Sugar Shane Mosley as well,
and Pacquiao. So he had reason to believe he was a star. And Pacquiao, we know why he thought he was a superstar, Joe. But
well, once again, this is what the great Don Chargan used to call urban advisors. Guys that don't know feces about the business, but you surround yourself with them and they'll whisper, well, a bunch of nonsense into your ear, convincing a fighter now that he's something that he's not. Right. And once again, Deontay Wilder is guilty of the I don't want to say most, but a lot of fighters are troubled by this. Coach Ronnie, what can you do about this? What can you do about this? If you're a promoter, manager, network, what can you do?
There's nothing you can do, really. I mean, the thing about it is, sometimes fighters outsmart themselves. And you just have to go with the flow. You just have to move on. And, look, Terrence, unless he go out and find him a deal somewhere else, he's still going to run into the same problem wherever he go. It doesn't make a difference, and he just have to talk to somebody who he trusts. For them, sometimes fighters don't understand what's in front of them. Although you've been in this business a very long time, sometimes in your head you think that people are trying to take from you or whatever. But again, when it all comes down, this is a business, and you have to do the boxing business. You got to do everything that goes with the boxing business, and that's simple as that. You can't go and fight yourself. That's that. You can always overprice yourself, but you still got nobody to fight. Where are you going to go? You have nowhere to go. You can go north, you can go south, you can go east, and you go west. And you know what? It all comes back to the middle. And the same people are going to be there, waiting.
Yep. Let's see. Listen to my homeboy whispering, blowing smoke up my arse, or trust the very smart people around you, right? Yeah, it's a no-brainer, Coach. But I will say this. Look, he's been a free agent since November, Coach. How's the free agency market been to him so far?
That's been good for him right there, because, the powers that be, nobody's moving. Nobody, nothing is going to move if you don't move. You have to move in the right direction. You have to surround yourself with people that really understands this sport and how things work. And sometimes being a fighter, we want to think that everybody needs you. It doesn't work that way. Boxing doesn't need anybody. Everybody needs boxing.
In the immortal words of Vladimir Klitschko, the dogs bark and the caravan rolls along. And that's it, guys. That's it. Want to give a shout out before we move forward. Want to give a shout out to our brother Pluto. Thank you so much for joining us. Salute Joseph, Coach, and Beans. Love it. Also, here to there, he says, great analysis, gentlemen. The only thing Crawford should be negotiating is 3 options versus 4. Otherwise, his only hope is Virgil Ortiz is mandatory, but DAZN is not opening up the vault like the past either. Nope, unless your name is Canelo Alvarez or Anthony Joshua. It's drips and drabs, guys. It's drips and drabs. Also want to give a shout out to our sister, Barbara Choice. Thank you for joining us. Also want to give a shout out to our brother, Rambo Red. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for being a part of the War Week Radio Extended family and supporting Coach Ronnie Shields. I'm sorry, what did you say, young Bill?
He said Rambo's another Houstonian, Joe, another Texan, like Coach Ronnie, like yourself, like myself.
And there it is. They're growing differently in Texas. They're growing differently in Texas.
Hey, Coach. Well, did you hear about what Caleb Plant said about Jamal Charlo? And he said that, that's something that I saw today, and I thought it might pique your interest. Caleb Plant said there's nothing that Jamal Charlo can do with me. And He, he's not as good of a boxer as I am. He can't do any. He said he would be an easy fight, and I don't believe that, Coach.
Yeah.
Is he talking himself into an ASS whooping, Coach?
Yeah. He's one of these guys, man. He got beat by Canelo, so now he really got nowhere to go. He's made him some money. He made some good money, but in the Canelo fight. But now, he wants to keep making good money, and he can't do that fighting half the guys that's up there in that weight division. So he needs Jamal, he needs Benavidez, he needs guys like that, and so he's going to keep talking because he's got a taste of money. That taste is really good, and he wants to keep that taste in his mouth.
Yeah, but what are the chances of him earning $10 million Rock in his next fight, Coach?
Oh, that's dead.
Oh, geez. It's funny.
And he didn't make 10. He made 9.
Oh, and there you have it. We're straight from the horse's mouth. We love it, Coach Ronnie. Puro South Central says, came in late, but my 2 cents on the topic at hand. That was the initial topic. Can BAM become a mainstream commodity in this brutal ass-beating business? And he says the boxing fans that watch the sport are already starting to take notice, but for mainstream success, you need a lot. Yes. Historically, unless your name is Manny Pacquiao and you're a freak of nature, well, you need to be much bigger than 115 pounds because it's never happened. Has it, Coach?
It happened. And again, like I say, it's a shame. But Pacquiao, he knew that. And, he just kept going up and up and up and up. And, and he was the only guy that I know that could do that. That, he realized that there was no money down there. There was nothing down there. And it's a shame.
It's terrible.
That's the best fights in the sport.
That's right. When you combine all action as well as elite level ability, it's the perfect representation of the sport. But we'll see. It's never happened before, but we'll see. Heard Bam say that he wants to make the lower weights more noticed. So we'll see. Well, good luck doing it on what Coach Ronnie likes to classify as the dead zone.
Hey, and Coach, I know this is totally off topic, but I know you said Sweet Pea was the most gifted fighter you've ever worked with, period. But how was it? How good was Guillermo Rigondeaux when you first got him? And you first started working with him? Reflex-wise, defensively.
Oh, yeah. He had everything. He had everything also. But, Pernell was a lot slicker. He was a lot slicker. And, just simple. Just simple as that. He was just so much better than everybody in his prime.
And also Guillermo Rigondeaux, well, he's a guy who liked to stick to the script.
Yeah.
You couldn't force him to take lead. Pernell Whitaker was more like jazz, completely formless, and had a greater ability to adapt, right?
Absolutely.
And there it is. Peter says, Bam, looked like Lomachenko with that footwork. Hell, yes, he did. He looked tremendous, Peter. Thank you for joining us all the way from Tijuana. Thank you, sir. Well, I tell you what, we're already 50 minutes in, so we're going to have to fly through this latest edition of Fact or Fiction. Are you ready, Coach?
Let's do it.
Number 1, Adrien Broner versus Omar Figueroa, originally scheduled for July 23rd, will indeed happen at 154 pounds and will be rescheduled for a date in August. Fact or fiction, sir?
I'm gonna say fiction because I haven't heard anything. I don't know, man. To tell you the truth, I really and truly don't know. I just know that the fight is supposed to happen, and I don't know why July can't work.
July 23rd was the original date. Yes, it was. But have you heard anything regarding that July 23rd date in Chicago?
Not at all.
Nope. Crickets. Well, this is
you know what? Let me tell you something. I
yes,
hope
sir.
it happens in Chicago because Chicago It's one of the best fight centers in the world.
Yes. Why aren't there any promoters staging fights in Chicago any longer?
Ever since COVID, though. Ever since COVID, they haven't.
Oh, you know what? That's a great point, Coach. You're absolutely right. And so says Ronnie Shields. I tell you what, Coach, that's why we love picking your brain every single week, sir. We always learn something. So this is what Adrien Broner had to say. Quote, I've been working my rear end off. I see many people who left me and thought I wouldn't be champion again. I've been in camp for 2.5 months. I'm training by myself and working my rear end off alone. There are usually 15 to 20 plus people on my side while I'm training. Didn't matter if they were holding water, Powerade for me, or having the bag while I was working out. Okay, now though, it's just me, Mike Stafford, and my cup man. And you know what? I want to keep it that way. There ain't no hard feelings to nobody, but just keep the same energy when I'm back as champion, end quote. Boy, I tell you what, that's a hard lesson to learn in boxing or any entertainment field, isn't it?
Well, number one, he's too small to fight at 154 pounds. That's number one. He's just way too small. He can't handle those guys up there. 147 is tough for him also because of all the good guys that's there. When it's showtime in boxing, you have to use it to the best of your ability. You can't let it pass you by. You got to. Everybody has a time. Because age don't wait on nobody. Adrian's getting older now. When he was at the top of his game, he was really good. And, he just let it slide by. Now, you try to revive a career that's lost.
Yeah, it's a young man's sport, isn't it, Coach?
No doubt.
Oh, boy. That's a hard lesson. So where's your posse? Where's your entourage now, Adrien? Come on, buddy. It's time to get to work, man. Try to salvage what little time you have left in this brutal ass-beating business. Number 2, Coach. Here's the one I've been wanting to ask you all episode, sir. Number 2, fact or fiction, Mikey Garcia will come out of retirement later this year to fight Tank Davis at 140 or 147. Fact or fiction?
I'm going to say that's a fact.
Yep.
Absolutely. I'm going to say that's a fact. Because, look, man, these guys retire for what? Knowing they're coming back. They just want people to, just talk about you and say things about them. And then all of a sudden, here they come back. So
that's a big money fight, Coach.
Absolutely, it's a big.
And and you know what? And Tank Davis is looking for a signature fight.
Absolutely. And Mikey is a good fight for him. So why not?
How do you see that style matchup playing out, Coach? Mikey Garcia, say what you want about him, he's still a sharp shooting counterpuncher.
Yes, he is. He's a very good counterpuncher. But Tank is too. The problem with that is Tank is the puncher and Mike is not.
Wow, I tell you what, can't wait to see that happen though, guys. And once again, you heard it here first on Real Boxing with Ronnie Shields. Number 3, Bam Rodriguez will temporarily move down to 112 pounds and face Julio Cesar Martinez for his WBC title at 112. Fact or fiction?
I think that's a fact.
Fact.
From what I've been reading, I think that's going to definitely happen. That he's going to do it. And why not though? If he can make the weight, then and be strong at it, then why not? He can do it. He can always just turn back around and go back up to 115 pounds, which is easy for him to make. So 3 pounds shouldn't deter him in any kind of, deter him in any kind of way. He should be strong at that weight. And, look, just go down there, get the title, come right back up. And, he maybe even go to 118 after that.
And Joe, as they say in UK, he's going to give him a hiding too, Joe.
Well, I will say this: the other current title holders, once again, Chocolatito and El Gallo Estrada, they're going to be busy for probably the remainder of the year, right? Then you've got Kazuto Ioka, who's a current WBO titleist. is going to be defending it against Donnie Nietes in about 2 weeks, right? That may be a fight, but there's rumors that Ioka is going to announce his retirement, win or lose, after this fight. He's already the elder statesman of the super flyweight, the super flyweight division. Also, the youngest titleist besides Bam Rodriguez is Fernando Martinez, who just won the IBF super flyweight title against Jerwin Ancajas on Showtime. Right?
That's the Argentinian kid, Joe?
That's the Argentine, sir. And once again, his promoter is Marcos El Chino Maidana. But here's the caveat. You can't tell me that after beating Jerwin on Ancajas on Showtime that they don't have options on his next 2 or 3 fights.
Of course they do.
Of course they do. So that fight is an impossibility. Coach, I think you're right on the money. I think he goes down to 112 and fights Julio Cesar Martinez. And if he does go to 112, stay far away from Junto Nakatani, the 5'8" southpaw with bricks in his gloves. Dude, have you seen that kid fight, Coach?
I haven't seen that kid.
Oh my gosh, that kid, you need to stay. If I'm guiding Bam's career, stay far away from that fight until that is possibly built up to be money. Otherwise, don't pick on that kid. Do not pick on that kid. Number 4, Coach, fact or fiction? The bad blood between Canelo and Triple G is completely fabricated to drum up mainstream interest for their September 7th third fight. Fact or fiction?
It's a fact.
Yep.
It's a fact. What fighter, don't talk mess, number one. They all talk mess. It's going to happen, But these guys are dance partners. They realize this. They know this. Look, Triple G, you can't take anything away from him because he's a really good fighter and he's a champion. Canelo can't take anything away from him. He's a good fighter and he's a champion. People know this. The real boxing fans are going to always buy this fight. But they're trying to convince non-boxing people to buy it. So you got to talk mess in order for that to happen. Simple as that.
We love your knowledge of the business, Coach. We love it. Every Tuesday we learn something new, but it's funny. So here's a quote from Canelo Alvarez talking about the quote-unquote disdain he has for Canelo or for Triple G. He says, quote, "I was busy fighting the best fighters out there. That's why it took 4 years for the third fight. Of course he's waited around and not done anything but wait for me. He wants his last payday. That's all it is. Look at my fights after Triple G and look at his. Notice he's not talking shit anymore because he has me right in front of him now. Call the lion when you see he's coming. And I'm coming. He pretends to be a nice guy, but he's an a-hole. He's an a-hole. I don't pretend to be another person. That's what he does. This is who I am all the time." End quote.
He's an a-hole.
Well, I'm not going to do that, brother.
He's an a-hole.
I was thinking about it, but no, I decided not to. So this is Golovkin's response, care of our good friend Kevin Iole, who hopefully your recovery is very successful, sir. He just had surgery a couple of weeks ago. God bless you, Kevin. Get better, brother, and you always do a great job in representing the sport. Get better soon, my friend. He says this, quote, "I stand by my words," Golovkin said. "I take full responsibility for everything that I said. But we're not talking about just allegations. We're talking about facts, the truth. He's the one who tested positive. He's the one who's trying to come up with excuses, trying to blame other people. That behavior is, I would like to say, clownish behavior. I would say, well, once or twice, 3 times testing positive, I guess it doesn't count when it comes to Canelo. Maybe because I'm not a member of the Pajama Club. That's why they're upset with me." End quote. You know what, Coach? That's a zinger, brother.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I tell you what.
You told it like it was.
Yep, the Pajama Club, Coach.
he was wearing pajamas the whole Beeble lead up against Beeble. He had on a new pair of pajamas every day. I told him the only thing he was missing was a sofa in there. Coach, he needed his own love sofa. And he was comfortable. Hey, Coach. He had a throne. He had pajamas on. Yeah, I see.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And yes, guys, once again, this is for the benefit of the fans. They're business partners at the end of the day, right? So, Coach, with that statement that you made, you're basically revealing the great and powerful Oz is just the man behind the curtain, twisting the knobs, turning the levers. That's it, guys. It's for the benefit of the mainstream and casual audience members. And both men are business partners. Look, if he really didn't like him, he would treat him like Demetrius Andrade. Yeah. Right?
Absolutely.
Is he ever going to fight Demetrius Andrade anytime soon?
Absolutely not.
Is anybody going to fight Demetrius Andrade anytime soon, Coach?
Absolutely not.
He might be the next Mikey Garcia. Well, or Terrence Crawford. And once again, guys, know your worth, understand your realistic market value, and be humble. Okay? There's a lot of money to be made and a lot of great fights to be made for the fans, but know your worth. Know your worth. Be humble, guys, because this business is hard enough. Has a funny way of humbling everybody involved. Number 5, Coach, Canelo Triple G3 will result in another controversial decision favoring Canelo Alvarez. Fact or fiction?
Ooh, I'm gonna say fiction.
¿Por qué, sir?
I think Canelo's gonna win. I just think that he, just him being younger, I see Triple G slowing down just a little bit, and that, it's so different from, and they know that's why they waited 3 years to take this fight. He wasn't all Triple G. Can't blame it on Triple G. It's him. They were just waiting on him to get older and slower, and he is. He's getting older and slower. But the last thing to leave is the punch. So he still got to watch out. He got to be careful that he don't run into something. Because if he does, Triple G can put him out.
And there it is. Where's Adelaide Bird when you need her?
No, you don't. Triple G don't need her.
No, I'm talking about Canelo. Oh, boy. Where's CJ Ross when you need her also? Oh, boy. Tell you what, so this is, guys, once again, it's going to take place, and it was officially announced during the week with the multiple press conferences. It's going to be take place at the T-Mobile Arena, the home of the first 2 fights. And, Coach, the initial odds, Canelo Alvarez is a -400 or 4-1 betting favorite, with Golovkin as a 3-1 betting underdog. Are you surprised they're that tight?
No, not at all, because, the real boxing purists know that styles make fights. And they know Triple G got the style that Canelo hates. So, so it's going to be another close fight early, I think. And I just think that if Canelo catches him, it's going to be late. But, I really see this going 12 rounds.
You know what? I'm not going to disagree with you, Coach. I think you're right on the money. And once again, guys, think about the last fight in which everyone likes to play revisionist historian and claim, oh, Canelo whooped his ass, man. That wasn't even close. He dominated that fight. Really? Because according to the judges at ringside, that was a majority decision for Canelo, which means one judge saw it 114-114. And the 2 judges that scored it in Canelo's favor scored it 7 rounds to 5 only, 115-113. Coach, does that sound like an ass whooping to you?
Not at all. Not at all.
And there it is, guys. So once again, I have to laugh at this, Coach. And once again, your knowledge of the business. Want to pick your brain about this. It's announced that, it's pretty much a sellout after 1 day of being on sale. And with the most expensive seats being $5,005 and the cheapest tickets only being $305, it's officially a sellout as of today, Coach. Do you think we're going to see a lot of tickets on the third-party market?
Oh, without a doubt.
Guys, this is Eddie and Canelo making their money.
Absolutely.
Once again, you're going to see tickets as high as 3 times the face value up until the week of the fight, and then you'll see them start to reduce the prices a lot closer to face value. But guys, that's the way it works. And once again, it's not sold out. Just call up any third-party ticket seller, and you can get your tickets, okay? You're going to have to pay through the nose, though. For a ringside seat, you're going to see it as high as $15,000. And there it is. There it is, Coach. Thank you for the clarification. Also, number 6, moving on. Oh, Fact or Fiction, Shakur Stevenson will face Robson Conceicao on September 23rd and will result in a terribly uneventful but dominant performance by the young champion. Fact or fiction?
I would say fact, but I'm like, as long as you win, who cares about how you look?
It's fact, Coach.
Because look, certain styles, man, in this game call for you not to look good, and that's what it is. It happens in this sport, and that's the different styles that makes fight. Just like with Triple J Canelo, this is not going to be in a really exciting fight if that's what you're looking for. Because of the style. Because of the style matchup, it's going to be difficult.
Yep. Yeah, let's see. 2 counter punchers from mid to long range, defensive safety first fighters.
Absolutely.
Boy, where do I sign? Where can I watch this extravaganza, Coach? This is a terrible style matchup, guys. And once again, Shakur's going to outclass the tough Brazilian fighter, but gosh, it's not going to be pretty, guys.
No,
if they thought if Shakur thought they were criticizing him after Nakatila, buckle up, guys. Buckle up. And there it is. So moving on, number 7. Here's a big one, Coach. I want to get your opinion on this. Oh, who's our friend in the background? Who's joining the show, Coach?
That's my dog.
Your pride and joy. I love it. Number 7, Coach. Here's a big one. Fact or fiction, Canelo Alvarez caught COVID during his training camp for Dimitri Bivol in San Diego and will perform much better in an eventual rematch next year. Fact or fiction?
Fiction. I never heard about him catching COVID.
Well, this is what Canelo had to say during the press conference earlier on Friday, the one in LA. He said this, quote, the Bivol fight, I couldn't train like usually. It's other things. It's not that I overtrained. It's other things. I don't want to say anything. Right? He also said this. No, I guess that's the end of the quote. Okay. Well, that's the end of the quote. But apparently, Robert Garcia, he seems to think that Canelo got sick. Okay, here it is. This is a quote from Robert. That Canelo may have gotten sick during camp and he couldn't train and prepare like he had hoped. He said this, quote, there's so many things that happen in boxing. People see the fights and they give their opinions after a decision. Bivol clearly won. There's no doubt that he won. There are so many things that can happen in boxing when it comes to training camps. A lot of fighters get injured during camp and they still fight like that. A lot of fighters get sick before a fight, and it's Canelo. He's pound for pound the best fighter in the world. He's unstoppable, and he's unbeatable, and he's not human. They think that a guy like Canelo can't get sick or injured or have personal problems that are going to affect his performance, but it happened, end quote. Coach, your thoughts about Robert Garcia and his quote?
I don't know. Canelo might have paid him to say that.
You know what? I tell you what, it's very convincing. And yay, man.
But look,
it wouldn't be the first time, would it?
Things happen in this sport, right? Things does happen in this sport. Things happen. People get sick. People get hurt. Yeah, it does. It happens. But you know what? If it happens, if you get sick and if you're too sick to fight, then what you do, you cancel the fight.
Yep.
And you can always put the fight back. So you don't always have to continue on when you're sick. So, but once you step in the ring, there's no excuses.
Yep.
And it happens all the time.
Yep, it sure does. It sure does. See, even he agrees with you. But I tell you what, Coach. So let me ask you this: if you're at the level of financially of earning those kind of dollars at Canelo, do you think that an injury or fighting through injury, do you think it affects you less if you're Canelo than if it's someone, well, who's making a fraction of that? Who does it affect more? And who would have the greater, well, reason to pull out of their fight?
Well, look, he's a guy. He makes a lot of money. Canelo Alvarez, he makes a lot of money. So it's not like that he need that extra $20 or $30 million. When, it's more the other guy, the opponent, who haven't made that kind of money. It's more on him because he wants to make the money. And, so look, if you're the main guy and you've already made all this money, then you could say, hey man, I'm sick. I can't go through with this. Simple as that. But the opponent can't do that. Because now he's blowing something big because now they Canelo might say, well, you know what? You blow your opportunity. I'm gonna move on to the next guy.
That's a great point, Coach. That's a great point. And so if Canelo was, and once again, this is all hypothetical, guys. Don't be spreading any rumors now. That's Robert Garcia's job, not ours. So once again, Coach, if you were training Canelo Alvarez, and if he did indeed get sick during camp, would you have advised him to actually postpone the bout and schedule it for another day?
Absolutely, without a doubt. Absolutely. I don't want my guy to go in there sick. I don't. Anything can happen. You can die inside of that ring. We've lost people in the ring before. So you're a human being. You're not no exception to the rule. So so certain things can happen to you just like it happened to everybody else. So why not cancel the fight and put it off? And you can always come back and fight another day when you're healthy.
That's right. Want to give a shout out to my brother Bruce, Gas Boxing Jazz and more. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. It's salute to my brothers Joseph, Ronnie, and young Bill. Salute to you, my friend. And guys, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to Bruce. Good stuff happening on that channel. We're almost there, Coach. Number 8. Danny Garcia will look fresh and motivated after a 19-month layoff in his first fight at junior middleweight against Jose Benavidez. Fact or fiction?
I'm gonna say fact. I mean, he should feel better, because I know he was having problems at welterweight, and he should be feel strong at 154 pounds, and he got a good opponent in front of him in Benavidez. So I think he's gonna look good, and fresh. He should. I think he should look good and fresh in this fight.
Well, is it more difficult for a counterpuncher is a counterpuncher more effective from ring rust like Danny Garcia than someone who just comes straight ahead?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And there it is. Well, I tell you what, we've got 2 more, Coach. Number 9, Frank Martin will once again steal the show and put forth an eye-opening performance against Ricardo Nunez in San Antonio, Texas at the Alamodome, July 9th. Fact or fiction?
I don't know. He could, because he's a good fighter. And, in his possibility, he could steal the show. So I'm going to say fact.
Very good. Frank Martin is an excellent fighter, one of my favorite prospects at 135 pounds. And he's going to be fighting, once again, he's going to be starting out the Showtime triple header on July 9th. And once again, we're moving forward to that because there's nothing going on this weekend. And traditionally, Coach, would you like to explain why? Does any promoter want to compete with the 4th of July in fireworks?
Absolutely not. You should. Nobody's going to watch.
Yep. That's it. No one's going to watch, guys. So that's why, if you're wondering why there's nothing on the fight calendar this weekend, at least not in the USA, that's why. Okay. Number 10. Finally, Coach, here we are. Fact or fiction. Brandon Figueroa will demolish a very good boxer in Carlos Castro at the Alamo Dome on the same card, July 9th, and set the stage for an eventual rematch with Stephen Fulton later this year. Fact or fiction?
It's a fact that he's going to set the Alamo Dome on fire, but he's not going to fight Stephen Fulton again.
Oh, why? ¿Por qué, sir? Why do you think so?
Because, I mean, I think Brandon is going up in weight, and Stephen he's going to stay right where he is.
Yeah.
So
wait a minute. So this Carlos Castro fight is going to be at featherweight?
At 126.
Yeah, 126.
Really?
Absolutely.
Carlos Castro?
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. Well,
and,
then that's
I'll be there. I'll be there because I got a kid who just got on the card today.
Yeah.
Which one, Coach?
Who is
He got on the card, Coach. Is my boy X-Man Bocanegra?
Yes.
The X-Man. Javier
X-Man,
Bocanegra.
that's my boy.
Just got him on the card today. So
outstanding,
awesome,
Coach.
That's awesome, Coach. Man, what's his record? 1-0 now, right? This is gonna be his second pro fight. Yeah,
second pro fight. He's fighting a pro debut from Crawford.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Hey, and Coach, my man Danny Drew in the chat keeps asking if you ever sparred Sugar Ray Leonard before.
No, but I fought him.
Oh, what? Oh, wait a minute. Wrong one. Hold on. Let me move up. I'm sorry. Explain yourself, sir.
No, I fought Sugar Ray Leonard in the 1976 Olympic trials.
That's right. You fought him in the Olympic trials. Wow.
So you fought Tommy Hearns and Ray Leonard, Coach. Who else? Who else you fought, Coach?
I fought Howard Davis.
Howard Davis.
I fought David Lee Armstrong.
Wow.
I fought a bunch of good guys, man.
No, not good guys, Coach. Great guys.
Great guys, yes, absolutely. They turned out to be great.
Did you ever spar with your friend Mark Breland?
I know, no. Mark was behind me. He was
younger,
kind of far
right?
behind me. Yeah, absolutely.
That's it. I tell you what, young Bill, do you have anything left that you'd like to ask the coach before we bid everyone an excellent Tuesday evening?
Hey, Coach, what's up with my man JP, Coach? My man Justin Paul, though.
Yeah, we still looking right now, and we should be hearing something real soon with him.
Okay, I hope he can get in. I hope he gets on that card too, because I'm definitely going to San Antonio that weekend, Coach.
He's not getting on the night for sure.
Oh, okay. I can't wait to see Bocanegra, man, that X-Man. But hey, Coach. Also, what was your most memorable? What was the most enjoyable time working with a fighter? Like who did you have the best camps with? Like out of all the fighters that you had that you could remember? All right, this guy really clicked. Me and him really clicked in camp, and it was just something special that you knew was going to be special.
Oh, probably. I mean, I got a bunch of them that I can say. But
great camps.
Yeah, great camps like Jesse James Player. We've always had great camps. Arturo Thunder Gaddy. We've always had great camps. Pernell Whitaker, always great camps. Holyfield, Melvin Taylor, always great camps. I mean, so many of them that I've really had a lot of great camps with.
Hey, Coach, Meldrick Taylor, do you think that Chavez fight took the momentum away from his career, the first fight?
Yeah, I think that hurt him really bad. It's a shame though about what happened and how the fight really got stopped, because he was winning the fight, as you know. He was winning the fight. Then he got hit, he got dropped. Then when he got up, it wasn't his fault, because Lou Duva jumped in the ring. And the referee is counting, and You know, you got to take the standing 8, but but the referee was still counting, and Lou Duva jumped in the ring like about counting like 7, and Melder turned his head and looked away, and the referee didn't. He had no choice, I guess. Everybody see the lights going off. There's 10 seconds left in the round, and the fight is over. But when Melder got distracted by Lou Duva jumping into the ring, that made the referee think he wasn't ready to continue, and it was only then about 2 seconds left in the fight when they stopped the fight.
And Coach, did you ever
Wow.
did you ever work did you ever fight the Hawk, Aaron Pryor, Coach?
And it's something with me and Aaron. I was always one division up from him. Well, let me go back. No, when I was a featherweight, he was 132 pounds. I never fought at 132 pounds. I went up. I passed 132 and went to 39. So I left him there. And me and Aaron Pryor were roommates in the 76 Olympic trials.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Last one, Coach. My man John McSmith asked, he said, Coach, how did Howard Davis's skills rank all time?
Oh my God, the best. The best.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, he was so fast. He wasn't a puncher, but the speed, the footwork, everything. It was hard to touch this guy. I mean, he was just that good.
Hey, Coach, do you remember little Charles Mooney?
Little Charles Mooney. I fought Charles Mooney. Me and Charles Mooney are good friends today. We still talk all the time.
It's funny. The editor-in-chief of Fight Saga, Lee Cleveland, right, who we're going to be working with very soon once again, and who's sponsoring this episode as well, he was actually trained as a young professional by Charles Mooney out in D.C.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Mooney. That's where he's from, D.C.
Boy, he said Charles Mooney was a hard ass.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, who aren't you friends with in the business, man? Coach still talks to everybody from the 1976, 1980. I said, Coach, how you the only person I know that got 40-year friendships with everybody. I said, Coach, how?
I do. Although Mooney is older than me. Mooney is about 8 years older than me, but he just turned 70, I think. So he's like 6 years older.
That's right. He's 70 years old. That's right.
He just turned 70. Yeah.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, I just talked to him a couple of weeks ago.
Yep. Does he still have that gym out in DC?
No, he's not in. He don't live in DC anymore.
Okay.
He moved to. I think he's in like North Carolina somewhere.
Okay. Well, once again, he was an integral part of that 1976 Olympic team.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, what a bad dude. So, yeah, that's Lee Cleveland actually had the privilege of training and seeking the tutelage of the great Charles Mooney. So there it is. That's the Fight Saga connection. So before we let everyone go, want to give a shout out to our brother, Carl Crocodile Hunter Hansen, who's joining us from Australia. Thank you so much. What is it, about how many? 16 hours ahead, is it? Or is it more than that?
15 hours, I believe.
15 hours ahead. So thank you for tuning in, my friend. But that's going to just about do it. Any parting shots, young Bill, for our listening audience, sir?
Oh, thanks, Coach Ronnie, again, for joining us every Tuesday and answering all of our questions and taking the time out. We really appreciate it. And shout out to your wife. Shout out to all the fighters in your gym. And, yeah, man, shout out to the X-Men, Coach. I know you excited to get him to 2-0. And Filip Hrgović, Coach, you got a lot going on, but thanks for taking the time out.
Well, hold on. Once again, is it okay to announce this fight? Has his management told you that the contracts have been signed?
Everything is good. Everything is signed, so it's good.
Oh,
August 20th.
Okay, Coach. You mind if I write an article on that one, Coach? That is announced.
Absolutely.
There it is.
To that, Coach.
Yeah. I love it, guys. Coach Rowdy, any parting shots for our extended family members on Warweek Radio?
Yeah, just keep watching Warweek Radio, and you can always follow me at official Ronnie Shields.
Guys, Tuesdays are much better when speaking to Coach Ronnie Shields, a legendary fight trainer, I want to thank him for all of his time and his dedication to the sport of boxing. Coach, the sport is much better with you in it, sir. God bless you, brother. And so, guys, on behalf of Coach Ronnie and Young Bill, I'm Joseph Herron. You've been listening to Real Boxing with Ronnie Shields on Warweek Radio. Have a great Tuesday evening, everybody.
Health Texas and Halftime Pizza proudly present Real Boxing with legendary fight trainer Ronnie Shields.